Someone collapses on a crowded street. 40 people walk past. Nobody stops. You have seen this footage before. You have probably told yourself you would be different. But the real answer is far stranger than cruelty or indifference. It has nothing to do with how much you care. In 1964, a woman named Kitty Genovese was murdered outside her apartment building in New York City. The story that spread afterward claimed dozens of neighbors heard her screams and did nothing. That version of events turned out to be exaggerated, but it sparked a question that psychology had never seriously asked before. Why do people freeze when someone needs help, especially when other people are watching too? Two researchers decided to find out. Bibb Latan and John Darley did not believe the popular explanation at the time, which was that city life had made people cold and apathetic. They suspected something else was happening, something built into the wiring of a group. So they ran an experiment. Here is what happened. When a participant believed they were the only witness, they almost always acted immediately. Over 80% rushed to help. But when participants believed several other people were also listening, that number dropped sharply. Many did nothing at all. Nothing had changed about the emergency. The choking sounds were identical. The urgency was identical. The only thing that changed was the number of people who seemed to be present. Latane and Darley called this diffusion of responsibility. When you are the only one who can act, the full weight of that responsibility sits on you alone. But when others are present, your brain quietly does something you are not even aware of. It spreads that weight out. It assumes someone else will step in. It assumes someone else is more qualified, closer, faster, braver. Everyone assumes this at the same time, which means often no one moves at all. There is a second piece to this puzzle, and it is even stranger. It is called pluralistic ignorance. Picture a group of people watching a man collapse on a sidewalk. Nobody screams, nobody visibly panics. Each person glances around, trying to read the room. If nobody else looks alarmed, your brain concludes this might not actually be an emergency. Maybe he is drunk, maybe he is sleeping, maybe this is normal. But here is the trick. Everyone in that crowd is doing the exact same calculation. Everyone is scanning everyone else's face for a signal and finding calm expressions because everyone else is doing the same scan. A room full of frightened people can look, from the outside, like a room full of calm people. And that false calm becomes contagious. It spreads faster than the truth does. You are not immune to this. Nobody is. This is not a character flaw. It is a feature of how human social cognition evolved. Think about that for a moment. Why would evolution build a brain that hesitates exactly when hesitation could cost a life? The answer might lie further back than New York City in 1964. Far further back, to small hunting and gathering bands where humans spent most of their evolutionary history. In groups of 30 or 50 people, everyone knew everyone. Responsibility was never ambiguous. If your cousin was in danger, you already knew whether you were the closest, the strongest, or the one with a weapon in hand. Social roles were clear. Hierarchies were visible. There was no anonymity to hide inside. Modern life removed all of that. You now regularly find yourself in the middle of crowds of total strangers, with no defined role, no clear leader, no established hierarchy telling you who acts first. Your ancient brain was never built for rooms like that. It was built for small, familiar groups where responsibility was obvious. Drop that same brain into a subway platform full of anonymous faces, and its old shortcuts misfire. Researcher Peter Fisher led a large-scale review of bystander studies in 2011, pulling together decades of data across dozens of experiments. His team found the effect held up again and again, across cultures and settings, though it weakened in situations that were unmistakably dangerous or violent. When the threat became impossible to misread, people were more likely to act, group or no group. It seems the ambiguity itself is what paralyzes people, not the danger. This tells you something important. The bystander effect is not really about courage. It is about clarity, which means it can be broken. Here is the strangest twist in all of this research. Knowing about the bystander effect measurably reduces it. Several studies since Latane and Darley's original work have shown that people who have been taught how diffusion of responsibility works are significantly more likely to intervene later, because their brain no longer treats the crowd's silence as a reliable signal. Understanding the trick disarms it. There is also a simple trick used by emergency responders and self-defense instructors. If you are ever the one who needs help in a crowd, do not shout for help in general. Point directly at one person. Describe them. Say you, in the red jacket, call an ambulance. The moment you assign a specific role to a specific person, diffusion of responsibility collapses instantly. The ambiguity is gone. There is no one left to hide behind. Think about how often this plays out far beyond emergencies on a sidewalk. A group project where everyone assumes someone else did the reading. A group chat where a friend mentions something concerning, and everyone privately hopes another friend will check in on them. A workplace where a mistake is visible to 12 people, and not one of them flags it, because surely someone with more authority already noticed. None of these moments feel dramatic in the way a collapse on a sidewalk feels dramatic. But the underlying mechanism is exactly the same ancient wiring, quietly running in the background of ordinary days. So the next time you are in a group, and something feels wrong, ask yourself a simple question. Are you staying still because you have judged the situation and decided it is fine? Or are you staying still because everyone else looks still, and you assumed that stillness meant something? Those are two very different things. One is a decision. The other is an illusion built by 30 people all reading each other's blank expressions at once. You are not cold. You are not indifferent. Your brain is running a calculation that was built for a world of 30 familiar faces, not 300 anonymous ones. It is not broken. It is simply outdated software running on modern hardware, but now you know the trick. And knowing it is the one thing proven to switch it off. Someone collapses on a crowded street. 40 people walk past, but you are no longer one of the 40 who doesn't know why.